friends. Welcome back to the Arts Department, everyone. My name's Autumn Rain Turkel, and this is the DL on Arts. This is the sometimes occasional podcast that Daniel Landerman and I do. Daniel is my close friend, confidant, co-worker, and an amazing all-around artist with many tips, tricks, and media, everything that you need to know. He's a good dude, and we have some great conversations. They meander, we're all over the place, much like this intro. We're gonna try and have some themes moving forward. If you have anything that you'd like to hear or any questions that you have for us specifically, leave them down below in the comments section, and we'll add them to the roster of things to talk about. While you're down in the comments section, hit the like, subscribe, and ring the bell notifications, all that stuff, so you can get notified next time we post something up or go live. And show us a little love on the social medias, and we'll show it right back. So strap in. There's a bit of a camera issue at the very beginning, so it's all on Daniel, even when I'm talking, but I assure you, I will make an appearance midway. Here we go.
I know there are some of those people that just feel like, whatever stress and pain and sadness and all that stuff fuel their art, right?
Yeah.
I'm not that way. I know you're not that way. Like, I do my best work when I'm like super happy.
Yeah.
I do my best work when I don't have a bunch of outside influences like trying to push their way in. Yeah. It's kind of, but we can only do that so much before those things do kind of worm their way in, and then we have to be like, okay, I gotta acknowledge this and deal with it and let it run its course and move on.
Yeah.
And I mean, what you were saying about, your hell is the blank page. I found myself starting a lot more with just like pencil thumbnails, and even if I'm going to do a digital painting, once I land on a thumbnail I like, I just snap a picture on my phone or with the iPad, it's easier for me to snap a picture on my phone and then just airdrop it to my iPad and just literally start painting or drawing right on top of that, not trying to recreate anything.
Not trying to redraw it.
Yeah. And it does away with that blank page instantly, from my thumbnail, which is very undaunting because it's a little, doodle that I'm doing. And so it's easy to just move through concepts and then, find one I like and just like start with that. That's how I did that November piece, was just like a little pencil thumbnail in my moleskin, and I liked it, and just like snapped a picture and then started working on top of that.
And that was during your rut too, right?
Yeah, it was kind of like, I think toward the end of that, I was, which would have been, it would have been right toward the end is when I started thumbnailing ideas.
Okay.
And then found one I liked, and then stayed up like way too late one night working on it, because I was surprised when I finished it and I looked back, and in my head I was like, I was thinking it was like 4 hours, 5 hours, since Procreate tracks your time on it, and it was like almost 9 hours. I was like,
wow.
I'm like, when did I put that much? I'm like, oh yeah, I did kind of start painting at like 6:30 after work, and was painting till midnight on it. I'm like, yeah, I guess I did put a lot of time into it yesterday, and then and finished it up the next day.
So did we actually come up with, I guess we have similar yet vastly different ways of dealing with the rut, right?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like they're pretty similar. I feel like we both tend to dip into the stuff that is kind of tried and true for us, that inspires us consistently, and just trying to find which one is going to inspire us this time. Right? And it might be, I don't know, it might be an ink drawing that I've looked at 1,000 times before. It might be some little doodle that I never took notice of in the past, but for whatever reason it speaks to me. Sometimes it might be like a prelim sketch or painting that one artist did, whether it's like Waterhouse or Mucha or Frazetta, or it might be a finished piece, you know, and it all kind of, I do tend to find myself gravitating more toward the looser ones. In terms of those are usually what inspires me, even if I end up doing something tighter than that. But there's something about seeing the thought process that really tends to spark something for me. You were saying that in some ways we tackle it differently. No, we have to be exactly the same.
Absolutely.
My way or no way.
No, that doesn't work. It seems like...
I mean, I know music is a big factor for you as well.
I will, and that's why I do all of the different things, really, is so that I can shift gears yet still be creative, right? So music, writing, art, all of those things play into keeping the creativity going in some ways. But then there's times when I just hit an utter wall, and I'm just like, I don't want to write, I don't want to draw.
Like a wall of utters?
And just blah, 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 blah. I don't want to do any of those things. And that's when I just put it all to the side, play some games, watch some movies, relax with friends. But I always do pretty much, I guess, what you do, which is to go back to those tried and true methods. And what I was going to say is it seems like we've been through enough of these cycles to have these tools, right? And I think if I was going to talk to a younger artist about it, somebody that was hitting these walls and not knowing how to deal with them, I would probably say go find those things that inspire you, right? Go find the things that kick off something in your head and make a collection of those things. And go find the techniques that help you in your process get to the next step, and maybe keep those things handy so that when you hit this rut, you can go back to that. You know, there's frequently in the community, people are like, hey, what do you do to kind of get rolling? And I mean, I always go back to, kind of some of the academic stuff. So gesture drawings and stuff like that will put your mind into that headspace. Right?
Which is funny because like gesture drawings have just never really done it for me. Even in school, I understood it as a tool, and I would get into it as a method for me to better my anatomy, but I was never one of those people that really enjoyed doing gesture drawing. So I mean, it's kind of funny when you would see that, because then you had some of the people in school that would just take that shit way too far, right? And gesture drawing was like their thing. But that was like all they could do. They could do badass gestures, but that was about outside of figure drawing, academic figure drawing. Like they were useless as artists.
That's all because that was the entire muscle that they've been using, right? Like you could go to the gym and just fucking lift with one arm, and your other arm's you're gonna look like.
It was just so funny to see that. Whereas, I mean, obviously, because you were also doing a lot of stuff out of your head, so the gesture drawing fed into that and became a useful tool. Whereas for some people, it was like that was their entire arsenal. Like they couldn't draw shit out of their head. It's like,
if you're out there, we apologize. You know who you are, though. So
yeah, it's your fault. No. In terms of us knowing, having gone through enough of these cycles and having these tool sets, the other thing I think that we can recognize is the difference between when your brain is just saying, no, you've had enough for a little while, versus when you're just bored with the current medium that you're using.
Yeah.
Right? Because that will happen to me more often. Like the complete brain shutdowns don't happen to me often, but what will happen is I'll find myself not really into what I'm doing at all, thinking that, oh man, is am I gonna be hitting another one of these like creative walls? But then usually if I just kind of go through my tool bag of different mediums, whether I've been drawing a ton in pencil and I switch over to ink, and whether that means drawing with pen or brush pen or ink washes, right? Or maybe I try ink and watercolor, or maybe I try straight up watercolor and gouache, or I try oils. Usually something hits, and then I'm like right back in it. And because it's like, okay, I'm tired of just thinking the same way with this medium,
right?
So I'm going to put that aside.
Right. So when you feel that kind of boredom approaching with something, you shift gears.
Yeah, my first kind of attempted solve, whether it works or not, maybe it is that I am kind of like tapped out for a minute, but the first thing I try is to just cycle out my mediums and say like, okay, maybe I just need to I need a refresh on my brain to start seeing things in a different way. Sometimes once in a while it might be trying to use the same medium in a different way, but that doesn't always. Usually I need like a pretty hefty switch.
Yeah.
So
that's fair. That's a good approach too, because then you're still keeping that creativity going.
Right. And then, which is maybe even a little different than when we hit the plateaus, right? Which we all go through that too, right? Where we're learning new shit and super awesome, and then all of a sudden we feel like we're not really learning anything, and we wonder like, have we peaked? Is this as good as I'm ever going to get?
This is it. This is it for art for me.
This is going to live here for the rest of my life. I'm never going to get any better than this. I will only ever be an upper mid-range artist.
Let me go get my emo wig. Hold on.
And
maybe we should hold that discussion for another time. Another podcast.
We could do that.
We can talk about plateaus.
Yeah.
Happiness, I think.
Yeah.
Plateaus and happiness.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's a good one.
Cool.
Yeah, I think we covered a good amount of stuff today,
yeah.
And I feel like these are topics that we'll probably be returning to frequently. Is how we deal with this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Considering we don't really have we don't have an outline for this show. This is not.
Maybe once we've done like 10 seasons of it, we'll start to
just like writing excuses. Like 10 seasons. Hey, maybe we should do an outline. Yeah. No, it's this show is about meandering. It's sometimes we're going to get discussions like what just happened, and sometimes we're gonna just talk about media or whatever comes to mind.
And that's the creative process, right? Like it is not linear.
Yeah.
And that's always something I think we have to kind of be aware of. And even when we do get into these ruts or burnouts or, blocks or whatever, I always feel like no matter what, the reason I don't try and fight it, especially the first few days, is I just feel it's important to kind of like chill out, turn your brain off, and let your mind float, because you don't know where the, again, using the word inspiration, but you don't know where that spark or that, that kind of drive is going to come from. And I think when we try and fight it too hard, we get too focused on like a linear goal of trying to work our way out of it. And, so I think like just true to the creative process, you have to kind of just let your mind float and see what happens, because you don't know.
Yeah, and that's exactly how I deal with it too. I mean, really, but just a different approach to seeing where that floating takes me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's it for this episode. Tune in again next week, month, year, next time for more from Daniel and I, talking about the arts on the DL. The DL on arts. The DL on arts. Yeah.
The DL on arts.
Yeah.
We're giving you the DL on arts.
Word. That's it from the arts department and the DL on arts. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, hit the notification so you know when we go live or post up a new episode. And while you're down there, check out the social media. There's plenty to choose from, all kinds of links and art and resources for artists, all the things. Thanks for tuning in, friends. That's it from the arts department. Keep drawing. We'll see you next time.